Hi friends! It's been a while since I last uploaded video on YouTube. I'm filming this video because I decided to restart my YouTube channel. Yay! So I'd like to explain why I took some break from being active on social media, including YouTube, for the past 3 or 4 years. Also, I want to share my current state and what kind of content I'd like to create on this channel. So, from 2021, the year 2021, I moved to Finland, as some of you might know from my previous content, and started my master's degree program in gender studies there. To be honest, it was very stressful and demanding, but at the same time it was very satisfying and great experience. So I'd like to share my experience sometimes in the future, but today I'm not talking about that much. So before I started my master's studies, I was very passionate about activism on gender-related issues and srhr, which is sexual and reproductive health and rights. I was trying to be active on sharing some content related to these topics on social media, especially Instagram. But as I dived into my master's studies in gender and feminist studies, I've learned how complicated socio-political issues are, and they're always not black or white kind of thing. There are various layers of different elements intersectionally, so I found it very, very difficult to find my own positionality in terms of presenting myself as an activist or advocate when dealing with social justice issues. I remember I was very passionate about activism and believed that was the right things to do. But now, when looking back, my thinking process was not deep enough. So I always tended to try to find the perfect goals or perfect answers to all kinds of social issues, like social justice issues, which are impossible to get changed by just one individual, And that kind of perfectionism brought me to feel sometimes guilty when I wasn't able to follow all kinds of social issues happening around the world, or when my thoughts or lifestyle would not fit along with what might be seen as ideal by others who are similarly passionate about some kinds of activism. So gradually that kind of feeling made me feel afraid of sharing my thoughts or opinions publicly, and it got me affected to worsen my mental health. In the process of learning and reflecting myself whilst studying gender and feminism academically, to the level of diving into finding the deep roots or the core nature of these concepts in human life, I sometimes got lost, overwhelmed, and depressed by the fact that there's no clear path to eradicate all kinds of social issues existing in the world, and also by the fact that I could be minority and be in a discriminated group in some particular setting, but at the same time I could also be majority and be in the position of colonizer or power holder in some other particular setting, depending on which society or environment I would be in. So because of this kind of experience and learning process, I felt it's very difficult to find my own positionality in terms of presenting myself as an advocate or as an activist. And I got hesitant to share any types of information about gender issues, feminism, environmental issues, political issues, and many more when I might not be able to follow and act as a perfect activist flawlessly. So that's why I took a break from social media and stopped presenting myself as an advocate. So now I'm still in the stage of figuring out what kind of person I would like to be and what kind of activity I would like to do for my life work. But I started feeling like restarting my YouTube channel might be a great idea. So I'll explain where it comes from. During my journey to deepen my knowledge of gender and feminist studies, there is this one knowledge stuck in me deeply. Because everyone has different backgrounds, different experiences, feelings, and identities, it's not meaningful to utilize collective identity politics for social change. But because of such diversity and intersectionality, there is a feminist theory seeing solidarity as the key to bring minority people together by sharing pains and bringing empathy, whilst recognizing each individual's difference. And this act of sharing experiences or knowledge exchange itself would be meaningful to overcome life struggles in this world of injustice. And after learning this way of thinking, I started feeling like sharing my thoughts, feelings, experience, perspectives, and knowledge that I have in the current stage of my life, if I say it specifically, a woman in her 30s living in the Japanese society, would be somehow meaningful and insightful to this world. And I see this kind of content creation as my little project, recording a trace of my life, which might contribute to some kind of knowledge production. And that's interesting and fascinating. Okay, so this video is getting longer and deeper than what I expected. But from now on, I'll share some pieces of my life, sometimes sharing what I'm passionate about. Of course, I'm still very interested in topics related to gender, feminism, and srhr. So my contents often include these kinds of concepts, but not necessarily tied to these. And I'd like to share my life in general, more in general. Oh, and I'm starting the new chapter of my life. As you can see, oh, I'm 9 months pregnant. So I'd like to create about my experience of pregnancy, childbirth, and child rearing in Japan, especially with some thoughts on cultural, social, or structural norms of gender and women's health. So if you're interested in, stay tuned. I may not be able to upload videos regularly or frequently because now I'm pregnant and the due date is coming soon in February next year. But I'll try to create content as much as I can because I want to. So it would be greatly appreciated if you watch my upcoming videos, and yeah. Thank you so much for watching until the end. I hope to see you in the next video. Bye!